Hey guys, and welcome back to another movie review. This is for that biopic Elvis that just came out last year. Um, honestly, I meant to watch it last year when it came out. I got as far as binging the grand bulk. I can't say every single one because I couldn't track down a few of them, but the grand bulk of Elvis's movies leading up to it, like his actual real life ones, because I wanted to feel like I maybe would have half a shot at understanding the source material because this is one biopic where it's not somebody I'm actively a fan of. Like, obviously, I have some sort of cursory knowledge of the guy. I know some, like, of his greatest hits and stuff, but that's about where it ends. So, I wanted to at least kind of feel like I had a kind of feel for it. Uh, but then by the time I crash coursed through those, I kind of hit burnout, so I just never watched the biopic that was the original thing that I wanted to watch in the first place, and I just finally did it today instead. So, some thoughts. Some thoughts. I think Austin Butler did a badass job as Elvis. Just saying that right off the top. Like, he did a really insanely good job. I couldn't even tell that that wasn't actually Elvis singing. Like, I'm sure the diehards probably are cringing right now and rolling their eyes, but I thought he did a really great job. And as somebody outside the fandom looking in, I feel like they did a relatively good job because I don't know his life super well. I wasn't able to tell 100% the same way that I would when it's a biopic of like one of my faves of like how much of this is real, how much of this is bullshit and like creative artistic liberties that they have taken for the sake of making it more dramatic. I did catch at least one though where I was like, this feels like bullshit. I'm gonna Google it, and then I did, and yeah, I was right. I was right. The whole thing about him being threatened with arrest for like perverted and indecent um acts of lust and perversion just because he shook his hips on stage. I'm like, sounds like bullcrap. Like, I know people weren't happy about it at the time, but I was like, I'm pretty sure we would have heard about this if that had happened. Yeah, it didn't. Not only did it not happen, but the way that it went down in the movie totally goes against what happened in real life. In real life, he just behaved. He didn't rebel against anything. He did exactly what was asked of him. Yeah, there's a few spots like that in the movie where I was just like, something is pinging for me is not quite right here, and then I would like Google it on my phone, and oh yeah, time after time turned out I was right. So even without knowing the source material super well, I generally know the gist of how biopics work at this point and can kind of tell a mile away more or less what's real, what's not. But that said, I don't have the same scope of range of being able to tell how much they left out, how much should have been in there, how much is accurate, how much is not. I don't have that same scope here. So, I mean, I'm sure there's Elvis diehards who thought this movie was god awful. Um, my sister's not even one of them, and she insisted it was awful. I watched it, I enjoyed it. So, your mileage may vary. Tom Hanks, though. Tom Hanks, my dude, my dude. I don't know if this dude's just been having a rough year or what is going on with Tom Hanks, but what the actual shit was that accent? What the hell? So he's playing Colonel Tom Parker, and his accent is like this bizarre mix of like French and German. And I'm sitting here like, I know I don't know the source material, but I don't think that's how this man talked, if I'm not mistaken. There's enough overlap with the Beatle fandom to where I have a little bit of knowledge about Elvis, and I'm like, I don't think that's quite it. And I'm right. I Googled it because I was just like, what the actual fuck is Tom Hanks doing? So apparently, Colonel Tom Parker was Dutch. The southern accent was fake, and apparently, because of this, Tom Hanks decided to just forgo the southern accent and just attempt a Dutch one. To which I say, has he ever heard a Dutch accent? Because that's not what they sound like. He'd have been better off doing an impression of freaking Goldmember and trying to sound Dutch than whatever this mess was. Yeah, it's kind of giving shades of Pinocchio all over again. And oh yeah, weren't these made around the same time? Mm-hmm. Just saying. So I mean, there was that. There was a bunch of things involving his character where I was like, that kind of sounds like bullshit, and I would Google it. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. So is as pretty much every biopic is not the most factually accurate thing on earth. However, again, as an outsider looking in, I enjoyed it. I thought aesthetically the movie was gorgeous. They did a really good job with stuff like that. Um, Certain angles they took on it. I mean, like they really drummed up the whole Elvis appropriating black music as his own. I know that he did do that, but I'm not sure if we really zeroed in on that as much as we did because of like the whole woke culture thing. And yeah, I don't know if we did because of that or because it actually was in fact that big of a deal. I'm not sure. So there's that. Trying to think what else stood out to me. What else stood out? Um oh yeah, at the end of it, like they start weaving in like actual footage of Elvis at like the very, very end. And it took me a second to realize they'd done it. Because when they were showing like video from I think it was his final performance, and he's like sweating bullets and everything. I'm just like, wow, they got that really realistic. And I'm staring at it like I'm feeling comfy looking at it. It looks so real. And suddenly it dawns on me that that's not Austin Butler. That is actual Elvis. I feel really effing dumb right now that it took me as long as it did to pin that. But the fact that they were able to weave it in that seamlessly to the point where it wasn't immediately obvious, I think that's a testament to A, how good a job Austin Butler did, and B, just how hard they worked at making it look realistic and sound realistic. They did an excellent job with that. And then, like, at the end of it, after that, they started like showing a bunch of clips of real Elvis and occasionally interspersing with Austin Butler. So I was like, okay, interesting weaving in and out with that. All right, I respect it. I respect it. But yeah, I mean, it's not quite the biopic I was expecting. This felt more like the Colonel Tom Parker story than it did Elvis's life story. I mean, it kind of jumped around a lot. Like, as most biopics do, it spent a lot of time on like the early years and then zoomed over a lot of the actual popular years and jumped to the end. I realized time constraints. I realized this movie was still 2.5 hours, even as is. So there's only so much you can cram in there, but it is one of those things where I'm like, huh, okay. I would have kind of liked to have seen more of the during the popular years, but all right, whatever. But that's the MO of biopics for you. That's not anything personal with this one. They all do that, much to my chagrin, but They do all do that. Show me one that doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I know that it seemed like what I was hearing about this movie when it came out was people either really liked it or they thought it was total crap, and there was like no in between. So I wasn't really sure what to assume going in. I tried to assume nothing and just go into it with an open mind. And I'm glad that I did that because I think I enjoyed it a lot more for that instead of going in with a preconceived notion of what exactly this is going to be and what to expect. So, anyway, just saying, I enjoyed it. But again, if you are a diehard Elvis fan, I could see where you might be more nitpicky with it. Um, but if you're not, and you have an interest in his music, have an interest in his life at all, I think you might enjoy it. Or if you just enjoy biopics in general, I think you'd enjoy it. So, anyway, that's it for this one, guys. So as usual, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more is all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.